The first thing that needs to be done when using the Alphabaker is to create an Alphabaker font file from your existing font stitch files. First, select Create Font File under the Text menu heading. The font sizing window will appear first. Enter the size of the font you are using and click OK. It is important to enter the correct size at this step. Entering a size larger or smaller than the files you are using will not make the font bigger or smaller. It will only cause alignment problems later. Next, select the stitch file type of the font you are using. After selecting the stitch type, a standard browse window will appear. Navigate to the location of the font you are using, select any letter file, and click Open. The stitch file character ID screen will appear. This window will automatically be filled with all the files that were in the folder with the one you selected. Now you associate each file with a character from your keyboard. That is, you want to assign a capital A to the file that represents a capital A capital B to the file that represents a capital B, and so on. Naming conventions will be different depending on the source of your font, so be aware which files correspond with each letter. You can see in our example, capital letters just have the letter in the file name, and lowercase letters have the letter with the number 1 after it. As you enter letters on the character ID screen, the cursor will automatically move to the next space, so you do not need to press Tab. If you make a mistake and need to correct an entry, just click in the box and press Backspace. When you get to the end of the first page, the Alphabaker will sound an alert beep to let you know. Click the Next button to move to the next page and continue assigning characters. Continue this process until you have assigned characters to all the files in the alphabet. When you are finished, click OK. If you have any missing letters or numbers, a message will appear informing you which characters are missing and asks if you want to continue without. Click Yes to continue, or click No to go back and find your error. After clicking Yes, a standard Save As window will appear. Give your alphabet a name and click Save. The default location to save an Alphabaker font file is in the Font File folder in the Alphabaker folder. We suggest not changing this location. When you go to open an Alphabaker font file, this will be the default location the Alphabaker looks in. You may have noticed some of the other options or functions on the Character ID window. These functions come into play when creating a font file of a monogram font, or as we call them, position-dependent fonts. A position-dependent font is a font used for 3-letter monograms where the left letter has a specific look, the middle letter has a specific look, and the right-hand letter has a specific look. When creating an Alphabaker file of a position-dependent font, a few settings need to be changed in the creation process. The beginning part of the process is the same. Select Create Font File, navigate to the files you want to use, select one and click Open, filling in the Character ID window. The first thing you will want to do is check the box in the lower left-hand corner where it says Position-Dependent Font. This informs the Alphabaker the file you are making is a monogram font versus a regular alphabet. Next, in the section on the lower right where it says Character Alignment, you will want to select the option labeled Center. Finally, you probably notice a third column in the area where you enter letters titled Position. This column is used when creating a position-dependent font to assign a position to the file, either right, left, or center. Enter the letters as you did for a regular alphabet and select the position of each letter you enter. We would recommend being consistent here and using all capital letters when creating a position-dependent font to avoid confusion when using that font later. The last control on the Character ID window is one you may never have to use, and that is the Click to Rotate section. Sometimes you may encounter a position-dependent font that, for some reason, is rotated 90 degrees and sideways. You probably noticed that whichever file you selected during the creation process appears on the grid. This allows you to see the orientation of the letters you are using to create your alphabet. If the letters are sideways, use the Rotate Right button in the bottom right-hand corner to turn the letter right side up. This will reorient all the files of your alphabet to be right side up.